My name is Sarah Jones, and I'm the application specialist for Placement Pass. And for my portion of the demonstration today, I'll be showing you how to register your Placement Pass account, and then how to submit your documentation and review once the nurse has responded. So for everybody here, if you are a first-time user of Placement Pass, what you'll need to do one time and one time only is sign up or register your account. This just confirms that you're a George Brown student and that we've received your information to Placement Pass and will allow you to submit your documentation. So from the George Brown homepage, which Suzette has shared with you, which is georgebrowncollege.placementpass.ca. From the homepage, you will select Student Sign Up. On the Create Account page, you will hit Continue, and then you would enter your student ID and date of birth. Now, just to note, I'm moving over to a demonstration account for Placement Pass so that we're not sharing any live data or information. So once you've entered your George Brown student ID and date of birth, it brings you to a password screen where you would enter the password that you want to use ongoing for your Placement Pass account. You enter that, repeat it, and then hit Submit. Once you see the registration complete page, you can click here to sign in. And then one thing to note is that for the next time you sign into Placement Pass on the homepage, you will always see this sign-in link at the top right corner, like most websites. So I'll be entering my student number and my password, and then hit Submit. So on that first page, you'll see your program and where you're at in your submission. So if you haven't done anything yet, it will actually say Not Started. This messaging will change according to where you're at in your submission process. So to see all of the details, you will click anywhere in the white screen, and then it brings you to your account. So firstly, what you'll need to do is select the appropriate enrollment for your program. If you see multiples, ensure you're selecting the correct one, as more will show up as you progress with the program. So select the enrollment, hit Continue, and then you're brought to the program page. This lists all of the requirements that are needed for your program's placement, and then you can hit Continue. The next page that you're brought to is the Placement Pass Student Agreement. So please read the terms and conditions and then agree in the consent. We also have an optional item for you or for students who wish to be contacted by a ParaMed recruiter after graduation. This is not mandatory for you to select. Then once you've done that, you'll hit Continue on this page, and then you're brought to the Important Forms section. So you will select the appropriate form for your term's placement, whether it's the initial form, the semester 2, or the semester 3-4 form. So this is the form that Suzette was just showing you earlier. You'll print off this form, bring it with you to your healthcare provider appointments. Once it's filled out and completed, you'll scan that form and submit it along with your supporting documentation. So then hit Continue once you've printed off that form. And then you're brought to the requirements section. So the requirement sections are where you're going to be uploading the documents that support each one of the requirements in these buckets. So for the first section that you're brought to is medical. So on this page, you can either drag and drop or browse on your device and submit your documentation. So I'm going to select File and then upload my document. And then you can upload as many documents as you need to. One of the documents that you'll be uploading in this section is actually your George Brown completed health form. One thing to note is that we can't accept iPhone pictures, which are in HEIC format. Please, if you do have an iPhone, please scan your documents and submit. Any free scanner app or a scanner app that's already on your tablet or device will work. As long as it's in PDF, we can accept it. So once you've confirmed that you've got all of the documents needed to support your medical requirements, you'll then check off that you are submitting documents for each one of these requirements. Then you'll hit continue, and it brings you to your next section, which is your certificate section. You'll do the same process. You'll select the file, submit the document, and then confirm that the documents are meeting these requirements. For further information on the requirements, there's a little info button, and then you'll hit continue. The next one you're brought to is the vulnerable sector check. I believe for the first year students, you'll be submitting your 12-month expiry vulnerable sector check. Upload that document. And then you're done. Now, one thing to note is that Placement Pass remembers where you're at in your submission, meaning that you can use this as a holding tank for your documents to start uploading those documents as you have them, and then only finalize your submission once you've confirmed that you've got everything attached. So when you have confirmed you've got everything, you'll hit continue, and you're brought to a review page. So this page just confirms each one of the requirements that you've stated you've updated documentation for. There'll be a green check mark beside the requirements. And then you'll see on this page that I'm actually not submitting a document for my renewal vulnerable sector check, which is on purpose. So if you see a red X for something you are not submitting, that is okay. However, you do want to make sure that you're submitting all of the other required documentation, as there could be a fee associated for any documentation that needs to be updated. One thing to note too is that COVID, flu, and your vulnerable sector check are always free submissions. So the next term that you need to update your vulnerable sector check, it will be a free submission. Once you've confirmed that you've got everything you're expecting to upload attached, you will hit continue on the review page. Then you're brought to the submit page where you enter your credit card information. We accept Visa, MasterCard, and Visa debit. And then you'd enter, and then you'd hit pay and submit. Once you've done that, you'll get a confirmation page saying that your files have been successfully submitted, and our Placement Pass nurses will respond to you within 2 business days. Each time there is an update to your account, you're going to get an email to your George Brown email address with a link to log back into Placement Pass to see that activity. For any activity for items that are about to expire, you'll get that email to log into your account to see what is about to expire. So you'll see that, excuse me, it brings you straight to the status summary page. And this is just reflecting that the nurse hasn't actually reviewed your documents yet. When you do, when the nurse has reviewed, you'll get an email to log back in and to see what your status is. You'll also see that all of the history on the status page shows with your documents and all of the activity that the nurse has done against your account. You can reach out to the Placement Pass nurse at any time using Ask Nurse a Question. So you would type in your question to the nurse and submit. There's never a fee to reach out and ask a question of the Placement Pass nurse, and they'll respond to you within 2 business days. You can also use this field if you have a password protected document, like many VSCs are, to share the password so that the nurse can open your document. We also have the ability to reach out and get technical support for any issues you might have on your account. There's an FAQ page available as well. And then you'll also see that at any time you can add new files. You just have to select your enrollment first, and then you can add the appropriate files under the buckets. Now I'm just going to show you what it looks like once the nurse has reviewed your account and responded to your submission and provided you with a clearance status. Right, so you'll see that the messaging when you first log in has updated. In this case, it's showing cleared, and that I've received a new message from the nurse. So to see all the details of your clearance status, you click on that screen again. And because you've already submitted your documents, it brings you straight to the status summary page. So you'll see whether you have cleared each requirement. And for some students, you may receive a temporary exception on a specific requirement. This will be listed here as well. And there's a note on that requirement on what is needed to pass that requirement. The nurse will be putting an expiry date for any temporary exceptions, which are also listed here as well. And we'll be sending you notifications at 60 and 30-day intervals for anything that is about to expire. You're expected to update that information in order to maintain your clearance status. We also have a status report here at the top. It's in PDF, so you can save this document and print it off if you need to. It lists any comments against any temporary exceptions or items that haven't fully passed on the same comments that were available in that status report page. And Suzette also has the ability to see your student status summary report. If you have cleared with Placement Pass, you'll see that there would be a yes under final clearance. We have a seal here stating that you have cleared with Placement Pass. If you did ask the nurse a question, you would see the indicator here in your inbox. You can go to that and then see the nurse response to your questions. And then for your next terms, when you need to update any documentation, you can go to Add Files, which will bring you directly to your Select Enrollment. You would select the appropriate enrollment for your next term, or your current term if you're just updating documentation, which opens up the requirements. And then you would say, go to your vulnerable sector check, and then update the vulnerable sector check appropriately.